there, we welcome you to a fresh edition of the Power Circuit, a power sector program by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. The program brings you up to speed about the power sector operations and the role of TCN in transmitting bulk electricity nationwide and managing the national electricity grid. Here are the headlines. Management of TCN briefs Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, on operational status, milestones. TCN management completes training of 700 electrical maintenance engineers. Engineers tasked on more commitment to building national infrastructure. You'll be hearing from an official in charge of the Lokoja Power Transmission Substation of TCN on how the facility has improved bulk electricity supply around Lokoja in Kogi State 6 years after it was commissioned. I am Amara Agugoisi. Do stay with us. The Acting Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, has led the management team of the company on a courtesy visit to the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliyu. The TCN team met with the minister, who recently assumed office, to brief him on the activities of the company.
At the briefing, which was held at the Minister's office at the Powerhouse, Maitama in Abuja, the TCN officials said the scope of the briefing from TCN included areas of priority, the status of implementation of ongoing power transmission projects, challenges, and the way forward. The Acting Managing Director and CEO of TCN, Engineer Abdulaziz, also provided the highlights of the milestone already recorded on the transmission grid, while intimating the minister of the various projects being delivered under the Transmission Advancement Program of TCN. Responding, the Minister of Power, Engineer Aliyu, described TCN as the transporter of energy in the power sector value chain. He urged the TCN management to hold to its role of maintaining the power transmission grid while working to upgrade and build more substations. The minister further assured that he was ready to give the needed support to the company to ensure that it succeeds in delivering its mandate within the direction of the reforms it has been tasked on by the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government. Engineer Liu emphasized that his office is open to listening to the company always, so that together the company would advance the national transmission grid.
The management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has concluded a 10-week training program for its 700 electrical and maintenance engineers in collaboration with the World Bank. The graduating engineers were also issued certificates. We are bringing you these reports.
At the wrap-up ceremony of the training program titled TSP, World Bank Capacity Building for Maintenance Engineers in Abuja, the Acting Managing Director and CEO of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, who was represented by the Executive Director Transmission Service Provider, TSP at TCN, Engineer Victor Adewumi, said the program has positioned the company to advance prompt maintenance of the power transmission networks.
On behalf of the NTA of TCN, Engineer Sule Abdulaziz, whom I'm representing today, they have asked me to congratulate everybody for the successful completion of this training program. Like the GMPC said, we have not to be here because it was here to declare this training open. So we have not to be here personally, but for the exigencies of the duty. So many times we have to attend so many things almost at the same time. So they have directed me that I should congratulate all of you, and that the feedback we are getting is very, very heartwarming. So as you are going back to our respective stations, we know you are now a better engineer, and that what you'll be implementing when you get there is better than what you were implementing before. I'm talking in terms of your maintenance. Now, TCN has zero tolerance for failure. So as you are going back, it's not just you servicing your transformers or line the way we have been doing before, is for you to be able to preempt first.
The TCN head also noted that the management will continue to hold such training for the electrical engineers and the protection, control and metering PC&M engineers to always deepen the knowledge of the engineers, just as he lauded the consultants and training facilitators.
That's why I like engineering. It's not what you study today and you say you want to go to sleep. You must continue to read. And that is what the GMC is emphasizing. You know, if you don't read, you are dying. If you want to remain alive, continue to read engineering. And as this technology is evolving, they are going to be abreast of the technology. On behalf of MD, I wish you journey message back home. And on that note, I want to formally declare this program closed. Thank you.
The Executive Director, Human Resources and Corporate Services at TCN, Mr. Justin Ishayadudu, lauded the TCN management for committing resources for the training of its 700 TCN engineers. The General Manager, Project Coordination at TCN, Engineer Joseph Chiroma, while addressing the graduating TCN engineers, enjoined them to continue to learn and unlearn so they can put the knowledge they have acquired into practice. Engineer Chiroma also said the trainees who spent several weeks in the practical aspect of the training program are well equipped, just as he charged them to leverage on teamwork. In a remark, the World Bank consultant for the training program, president of V-Line and Worldwide Solutions, Dr. Jahan Mogadam, lauded the participants, TCN officials and the facilitators for their commitment while the training lasted. Some of the graduates who made remarks on behalf of their colleagues lauded the management of TCN for the extensive training program.
I want to appreciate the TCN management, and we also want to thank the V-Line and WWS for imparting into us the knowledge they have. We promise that everything that they have taught us, we're going to make use of them by the time we get back to our various work locations. And I also want to encourage my fellow colleagues that everything that they have taught us, we shouldn't keep it to ourselves. We should let others know, and we should always participate in the job so that we can move TCN forward.
The training is so detailed and aptly put together. And the sections of transformers, switchgear maintenances, tests, analysis, solution, given for our equipment. I want to appreciate on behalf of the Advanced Protection class, the PC&M engineers here, the management of TCN, for the privilege, for the honor given to us to have this experience. Just as one of the speakers said, we have had trainings in the past, but most times it hasn't been this thorough. Yes. On the second note, I also want to appreciate the facilitators. You have done marvel. We're so grateful. Yasha, we're grateful. Reza, we're grateful.
Sir, I would like to let you know that we are fit to go back to the field, to right the wrong, and to make TCN
The acting MD and CEO of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, represented by the ED Transmission Service Provider, Engineer Deumi, along with the Executive Director, Independent System Operations at TCN, Engineer Maman Lawal, then presented certificates to the graduates.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Verify that land before you buy it. To drastically reduce the incidence of building under the transmission right of way, or encroaching on designated TCN land. Members of the public are hereby requested to verify land near or along transmission line route before purchasing it. Verification should be made in the Land Development Authority or at the TCN office. This would help in drastically reducing the incidence of building under transmission line right-of-way and save us all the problem of pulling down the structure or truncating transmission line expansion projects in your community due to court injunction. Help us serve you better. Verify that land before you buy it.
Nigerian engineers have been urged to deepen their efforts in building and sustaining infrastructure for national economic development. This was a clarion call to the engineers at the 11th Conference and Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Maitama Branch in Abuja.
Speaking to newsmen at the ceremony, the chairman of NSC Maitama Branch, Engineer Oladipupo Mobogaji, said the role Nigerian engineers play in infrastructure development is key and enjoined engineers to be wholly committed to this. The conference had some management staff of the Transmission Company of Nigeria in attendance. In his lecture as a guest speaker, Professor Zikiwe Peter Onwalu, a former Director General and CEO of the Raw Materials Research and Development Council, RMRDC, and a professor at the African University of Science and Technology in Abuja, enjoined engineers to work towards harnessing raw materials for the development of infrastructure.
If we are able to create wealth, it means there will be more tax revenue, and when there is more tax revenue, then of course you can have more economic development projects, which eventually leads to sustainable economic development. But what is happening? Because we've not really thought through this process, we allow our infrastructure to decay.
During the award session, the NSC Maitama Branch gave a leadership award to the acting managing director and chief executive officer of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz. The award was received on his behalf by Assistant General Manager Lines Projects, Engineer Bako Rahim.
This is another man of honor, a very distinguished personality, and as a matter of fact, very humble. He's a man whose office is 24 hours open to people, particularly engineers. On behalf of the entire membership of NSC Maitama Branch, it is my pleasure to present to you, the Managing Director of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, Fellow of the Society, this Distinguished Excellence Leadership Award. Sir, our regards to the MD.
Also among the list of awardees is the Executive Director Transmission Service Provider at TCN, Engineer Victor Adeumi, who was also honored by the association for his commitment to the engineering profession. The Regional Transmission Manager, Abuja Region of TCN, Engineer Ibrahim Ali Sharifai, received the award on his behalf.
A senior manager, system operations at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Daniel Ime, says the 330-132 kilovolts Lokoja transmission substation in Kogi State has improved the bulk electricity supply within the state capital and its environs 6 years after it was commissioned.
Engineer Ime, who is also the substation supervisor, stated this when the power circuit team visited the facility.
The station is about 6 years. It was built November 2015. So by November this year, it will be 6 years. It covers up to Kaba Junction, Felele, up close to Abaji. It also covers Kaduna Junction, Zango area, up to the township. It covers a Federal Medical Center. It also covers a Chinese company and Government House.
He further spoke about the capacity of the substation, which is a large-scale facility that has enough capacity for expansion.
We have 150 MVA transformer and also 60 MVA transformer. We have about 30 megawatts. That's the capacity that have been loaded.
Although the substation is relatively new, the TCN management has continued to improve on it by initiating more projects in the facility, said Engineer Ime.
Recently, there have been renovation of the control room, and new security posts have been built. We've also got a borehole just of recent, and a light, linking the station to the security gate, the main gate, have also been installed in maintenance within the control room.
The substation supervisor also said the management of TCN takes routine maintenance seriously at the substation.
Talking about daily maintenance that takes place here, in the course of doing inspection, if there are MCBs that tripped, they are reset. Maybe MCBs that link supply to the fans. In the course of carrying out inspection, if it is found tripped, has to be reset. That's done on a daily basis. Or maybe the fans of the transformers are not working, and you find out that the transformer is loaded. Then you check the MCB that is controlling that fan and reset it. Also in the battery bank, in the course of inspection, maybe the air extractor is not in, you put it on. So those are the routine maintenance we do here.
In spite of the significance of the facility, there are issues of insecurity around the substation in Lokoja, Kogi State. The TCN official recalled that a section of the fence was broken by intruders, as well as some restive youths in the community.
Recently, our fence, was broken. It was amended, and after the amendment, they still went ahead to break the fence. So, breaking the fence have been reoccurring.
In the control room of the 330-132 kilovolt Lokoja transmission substation, the substation supervisor spoke more about the source of bulk power supply to the substation as he explained the components of the control room.
We have a source of supply from Ajakuta, double circuit, line 1 and line 2. Line 1 is a J1L and line 2 is a J2L. The outgoing lines are Gwagwalada line 1 and line 2, line 1 circuit L6G, and line 2 circuits L7G. We have one number 150 MVA that's connected to bus bar 2, and we have one number 60 MVA that is connected to bus 1. We also have 3 number outgoing feeders, feeder 1, feeder 2, and feeder 3. Feeder 1 is feeding up to Kaba Junction, Felele, and as far as close to Abaji. Feeder 2 is feeding the township feeder, feeding Federal Medical Center, and feeder 3 is feeding government house, Chinese companies, and the VIPs. So those are the 3 outgoing feeders that we have.
You are right with Engineer Ime, the substation supervisor at the switchyard of the Lokoja transmission substation.
This is
75 MX shunt reactor. The work of the reactor is to suppress the voltage. Normally, this station have been experiencing very high voltage, and to cope with that, we did a reactor. So this is the reactor. The reactor is tied to bus bar 1, and there's a link between bus 1 and bus 2. Those two buses are tied. So the effect of the reactor is felt on the both buses. So this is bus bar 1, the first one that you can see. And the other one down is bus 2. So there are 2 buses in the station. The source of the supply, like I said, we have 2 sources, 2 circuits, from Ajakuta. So we have line 1 and line 2. Have the isolator, have the breaker, and also the isolator. So with that, the 2 lines, are tied together. The purpose of this arrangement is to stabilize the system, so that if there's any problem with one line, we'll not lose the system. So that's one of the reasons that the tie arrangement is important. So we get to the transformers. Like I told you, we have 150 MVA, one number, and we also have 60 MVA, one number. But there is arrangement for future expansion. As you can see, the 150 MVA is here, and in future, if we have to install another 150 MVA, we will not have any problem, since there's, provision for it already. That's why I see this tie arrangement. You see the isolator, I see the breaker, and you see the isolator. So it is expected that in future, there should be another 150 MVA here. But for now, this is the one that we have, in the station.
As we come to a close, the headlines again. Management of TCN briefs Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Liu, on operational status milestones. TCN management completes training of 700 electrical maintenance engineers. Engineers tasked on more commitment to building national infrastructure. We took you through the Lokoja Power Transmission Substation of TCN, where an official said it has improved bulk electricity supply around Lokoja in Kogi State 6 years after commissioning. We appreciate you as you always keep a date with the power circuit. This episode and all others are readily accessible with just a click on the TCN YouTube channel. Keep supporting TCN through these platforms so that together the company can advance its mandate of delivering bulk electricity nationwide. Kindly ensure you take the COVID-19 vaccine and the preventive protocols seriously, as there are reported cases of the outbreak of the new Delta variant in Nigeria. I am Amara Agugoisi. Thanks for being there.